I'm Johnny Massacre, and welcome to the Johnny Massacre Show. Donald Trump made a speech. He delivered his third State of the Union address, and it was to a joint session of Congress, meaning basically Trump's teammates, the Republicans, were there, and his enemies, the Democrats. They were all in the same room. And it's really, really good PR for Trump, because everything Trump says about his policies, like blowing his own horn about his policies, all of the Republicans get up and clap. Like, these motherfuckers were clapping after every single thing he said. Trump could have said, "You a fucking cunt, mate." They'd have got up and gone, "Yes, yes, we are." So you had the contrast of all the Republicans clapping after everything he said, and the Democrats like sitting there stony faced. So it was fucking glorious. So behind Trump was sitting Nancy Pelosi, who is one of the instigators of Trump's bullshit impeachment trial, and she was sitting behind him, kind of looking like Skeletor from He-Man, like a skeleton, and she's all like twitching and gurning and shit. And while Trump is just absolutely railing her party, he kept on. Trump, like, the Democrats are sitting there stony faced and not even clapping when Trump was citing things like lowest ever unemployment for African Americans, Asian Americans, and Hispanics. And then after saying that, it cuts to Democrats. They're like, like sitting there all pissed off, because that tells you everything you need to know about why Trump needs to get reelected. Because the people on the other side, they will do anything just to go against Trump. So if Trump says we should all breathe oxygen for a long time, they would all hold their breath. You know, if Trump said we should make the people of America happy, they're going to disagree. So whatever Trump says, even if it's right, they're basically going to do the opposite, which is insanity. It can't be so partisan to the point where you're going to hurt the people because you're so tribal. And the Democrats are so radical and far left right now. It is just crazy. I think we need Trump to get reelected just to give the Democrats a slap in the face and bring them back more to the middle, because they've gone so fucking far to the left that most rational people will just side with Trump because it's much better than the alternative. And we don't need to go into that. I think you all know what the alternative is by now. And so, yeah, it was glorious. Trump was blowing his own horn while Nancy behind him was twitching and gurning like a Skeletor from He-Man. And Trump kept on saying that his administration had reversed the failings of the previous administration. And then Nancy Pelosi's just looking pissed off the whole time. So, yeah, I watched the video. You should watch it too. It's really, really funny. And yeah, so I just wanted to share that with you, my thoughts on Trump's State of the Union address. And there's a headline over on Fox right now, and it says, it's a quote from someone called Tim Scott, and it says, "If Trump gets 14% of the African American vote in November, it's game over." And this is digressing a bit, but it's still within the world of politics. And that really caught my eye, because I just wanted to make this point. The reason why people on the left and Democrats are so pro-women and so pro-black and so pro-minority is because the Democrats, since the 1960s, for the last 50 years, have not won the white vote. So they basically need non-white people to vote for them so they can get into power. You really think these rich, ivory tower dwelling, hypocritical Democrats who dine on caviar and fucking champers give a shit about the working class, about minorities? Do you really, really, really genuinely think that they care, having amassed that much power and finance in their time? So with that in mind, it's pretty obvious that they exploit minorities and use them to get power, like pawns on a chessboard. And I find that really, really disgraceful. And that's why people can see through this whole social justice, feminism, pro-minority, pro-Muslim bullshit. It's all lies. They don't care about any of those people. They just want to appeal to them and get their votes. And it's not enough, you know. It's not enough saying, "Oh, I like women, I'm pro." It's not enough saying that shit. You've got to offer the people something. You've got to offer something decent. The Democrats really aren't offering a lot right now at all. So, yeah, finally for today, I'm going to do like a little secret movie review. It's very, very secret and it's very unexpected. But I watched the Snowman 2 kind of after Christmas, like in January. January's now over, but yeah, it's been that long since the last Johnny Massacre show, and the Snowman fucking blew me away, blew me to pieces. Not just because of the nostalgia of that animated movie, which is a metaphor for death, about a kid who builds a snowman who comes to life and takes him on a journey, and then he melts at the end. Not only is it deep and meaningful like that, but the music is just incredible. And me being a music producer, I'm very much in tune with how important music is, coupled with visuals. But the average person, they're only really registering what they're seeing. They see some cool CGI, they think, oh, that looks amazing. If they hear some cool sounds and hear the music, they like it, but they're not sitting there really appreciating it like they would with something they're actually seeing. But turn the sound off any movie or remove the music, it's going to look weird and it's going to be awful. That's how important sound is. It's just as important as the visuals. Don't forget that. Pay attention to it more next time you watch a film. And The Snowman is a great example of that. Every classic movie has a classic song. Tell me a classic movie without a wicked piece of music or a classic song. I'll be waiting, because I don't think you can. And Snowman's no different. It's got an epic, epic song in it. And it just looks incredible. Now, The Snowman 2, it was released many, many years later. And I've got to say, it's pretty shit. It's pretty shit. I watched it with my ex-girlfriend, we've remained friends, which is great. So she's a good friend of mine. I watched it with her. And I'd like to tell you some of what she said as well, because what she said is really relevant, because she's Japanese. And she brings another angle to it. So basically, why is The Snowman 2 shit? So Snowman 1, boy builds a snowman, snowman comes to life, takes him on a journey, then it melts at the end and dies. In this one, new boy goes to a house and finds the remnants of the snowman, which is his hat and his scarf and some other shit, and he puts it on a snowman outside and it comes back to life. It's a trope of I guess fantasy movies mainly, where they find the original items of the first film and then they take ownership of them, and then the whole thing happens again with some new characters. But I kind of like that extension of the story, because I was thinking like, hey, what the fuck happened to the snowman? He melted, but does he come back? It's like Blade Runner. All these moments lost, like tears in rain. So it's saying like when you die, it's like your life is like a tear, and it's just lost in the kind of amorphous mass of other molecules and stuff. Is it the same with the snowman? Because when he dies and melts, his energy is still there, and it's going to be converted into, well, the snow will melt into water, and then it will be evaporated and then turn into rain and keep coming. So is that a metaphor like the Blade Runner movie for life, where your energy kind of dissipates but you become part of the earth? But then surely the snowman's going to come back, right? He's going to come back because he's melted. He goes in the fucking clouds. Then he's going to come down again. If that cunt can come out of the fucking rain in the first place, when he melts, he can definitely come back. So it was kind of nice to know, yeah, the snowman does come back, but you need his fucking hat. Really what they should have done is they should have done an origin story of the hat and the fucking scarf. It should have led back to some really cool, benevolent old man who passed away and he froze in the snow or something, right? And the only thing left was his hat and his scarf. And then someone found it, and then his spirit can come back. That's what they should have done. Why don't people call me when they make fucking sequels? I know what to do, you cunts. That's not what they did. The boy builds a snowman and a snow dog, and the snowman comes back to life, and now there's a dog. Okay, so there's a dog. That's your twist. That's not very imaginative. It's basically the same story with a fucking dog. And the problem with this is they never properly establish the boy who's like the protagonist of this film. So in the first Snowman, there's a really critical moment. It's the only bit of character building, but a good movie can do it like that. And it did. So in Snowman, the boy goes outside, builds a snowman, throws a snowball at the house, hits the glass. The boy's like, shit. The mother comes out. It's like, you cunt. Boy fucks off, kind of looking sad. That is a critical moment. That builds the character. So he's naughty, he's adventurous, he's outgoing, and he's sensitive. And I think we're all a bit like that. Those are qualities we all kind of have, for better or worse. And we relate to the boy in that moment. In this one, there is no scene like that builds his character well. So you don't give a fuck about this kid, really. So the worst thing is when they fly, the music is wrong. The music is just, it's bad. It's like some weird acoustic guitar pop song. That killed it for me. It just boggles the mind how people who make these things, who get the job to make these sequels, don't really have an understanding of how the original IP was. But then I guess sometimes people make these things and they don't even intend, they don't even plan it out like that. It's almost like subconscious genius manifesting itself. And then once it's created, people see things in the art of the creator that the creator didn't even know. Because sometimes the creators are involved in these sequels. And this one was the guy who illustrated it. I think his name's Raymond Briggs. He was actually involved in it. So maybe he kind of legislated for the success of the original Snowman. But if he really was solely behind that story, I guess it shows you that maybe even he didn't understand, you know, the real concept of it. It was just something manifesting and all the stars aligned. But anyways, the song is awful, and you can't have a shitty song in a sequel to The Snowman. If I was producing that, I would say, mate, stop the fucking tape. That's so. I would say to my team, if you don't have a fucking mind-bending song that's going to make me cry like a baby on my fucking desk within a week that we can put into this into the middle of this Snowman sequel, that's going to be the calling card for the movie, you're all fucking fired. Like, that's the pressure I would put on motherfuckers, because that's the key. You've got to have that fucking song. That's the reason people remember that film. They're going, we're walking in the air. They're singing it, and it stays in your head. You've got to come again. You've got to come hard. They didn't. And they didn't keep it in time with the kind of choir style of the original. Massive fucking fail. Then it got a bit diverse. So they went to the snowman party, just like in the first one. There's all these snowmen partying in the forest and shit, as you do. And it's like really diverse snowmen. So there's like a black snowman, snow woman, and there's a Japanese one. And so, yeah, whenever you put forced diversity into something kind of smells a bit off, right? It doesn't feel right. You can tell that the motivations of the maker are not pure. It's not about art. It's a little bit political. Whatever reason they want to put it in, I don't want to go down that way. But it's part of the leftist narrative, basically, being diverse, right? We talked about that a bit today. And so when you see that, it doesn't feel right. It's like, yeah, this is not an honest piece of art. Nobody wants to be sold some kind of ideology, and there's a bit of that, just a little, in this film. It was before the crazy woke tsunami of recent times, so, but it's that, you know, it's a warning sign for the diverse, pseudo diverse bullshit that now is infecting mainstream media like a cancer. And the black woman snowman, they put like a coconut bra on it. I mean, all these people making it with their white guilt, so desperately trying to be woke and inclusive, actually exposing their own lack of understanding of these cultures. A big fat snowman with a coconut bra as your black woman snowman. Well done, guys. Really, who was producing this fucking film? Also, there was some Japanese shit there, some Japanese snowmen. And I asked my ex-girlfriend, I was like, what do you think of that? And she said, it's stupid. She straight up said it's stupid. She said, we don't have a snowman culture. We don't have any snow. We didn't build snowmen. We never see that shit. And so that's why saying we're all exactly the same is wrong, because we're not all exactly the same. We have different cultures. We have different values. This is absolutely true, underpinned by religion, whether you're religious or not, and I'm not. They are. All the buildings, all the architecture, all of our belief system, it comes from religion. And so cultures matter. You know, history matters. And there are no Japanese snowmen. So you're putting Japanese snowmen in there to make someone happy, when the Japanese person next to me doesn't give a fuck about that. They don't have woke culture here. They don't do that. They're proud of their country. Japanese people love Japanese food because it's fucking good, because it's fucking healthy, because it's fucking tasty. And the people who want this shit, want the diversity, they don't care about diversity. They don't give a fuck about it. They just use it to accumulate power, use it to be relevant, use it to have a voice, and use it to silence people and bully people. We don't need this shit. We don't need false diversity. So that was in the movie. And yeah, there's a scene as well where I think they take a fucking helicopter or some shit. and he also flies. So why is the cunt flying and taking a helicopter? Choose one, mate. And at the end, it's not good. So the dog becomes real at the end. So The reason why the original Snowman, other than the music and just the general awesomeness of it, is amazing is because it's sad. Like, he dies at the end. That's the whole point. That's why it's moving and deep, because it is a metaphor for death. The creator of the Snowman said as much. So when you actually come to life at the end, it totally destroys the whole meaning and metaphor. Because we live in a culture now when no one can be offended, no one can be upset, everything has to be nicey happy. Stop with that shit. You're going to lose money in the long run. Really. So the snowman dies, but the dog comes alive. And that's kind of just creepy and weird. And the original snowman, could it be all a dream? Was it a drug trip? Was it, what was it? You know, because the snowman was there and it's gone, but was it real? Was it in the kid's head? But the dog's alive, so it's all kind of real. It's basic shit. Put a sick tune in the middle and make it all die at the end. And try to be a little bit more different to the original. Should have done the origin story. So yeah, that's my movie review of the Snowman 2. Check it out. Let me know what you think, especially if you've seen the original. So yeah, I guess I should probably tell you what's going on in my life, but really, you don't give a fuck about that, so I won't dwell on it too long. But I got the wallet from Pulp Fiction. I think objectively, this looks terrible, but because it's from the movie and that's such a good movie, I love it. What else is going on? Okay, I'm learning piano. So my piano learning is actually going really well. So I'm learning all the scales in major and minor. And if you don't play music, this is not going to make any sense, but there's different minor scales. Major is happy sounding. Minor is sad. And there's many scales of everyone, but there's 2 or 3 main minor scales and 1 main major scale. And the minor scales are really interesting. There's natural minor, and all of natural minor's keys are shared by natural major's keys. So the happy and sad scales are actually have the same keys, but depending on what key you start on, it has a totally different flavor. So you can play the same keys from left to right, but starting at a different point. One of them is going to sound happy, one of them is going to sound sad. So that's really, really interesting. But the minor has a second scale where one of the keys is a slightly different position, and it sounds so fucking good. So I'm really getting into that. I do my scales every day. I know about the chords, but I'm going to learn to play this all by heart. And I learned to play a few music pieces. I learned to play Axel Foley today, the Beverly Hills Cop theme. And I did that because I was learning a scale, and I thought, wow, these notes sound, oh shit, this fucking scale made the Axel Foley tune. So learning a lot, loving it, and I have a weird memory for learning on the piano. Like, it goes in my brain really fucking fast. I'm really good at typing, so I think I'm good on the keyboard. So this is really good. And it's just opened my eyes to music, you know, like the music I was making before, I somehow got away with it, but musically I didn't really know what I was doing. But this not only tells you what you're doing musically, harmonically and whatnot, but it also tells you about the arrangement of the song. And if the music's good, and if the beats are good, because I make electronic music, those two things together when you're arranging music makes it so much easier. So I'm loving learning the piano right now. That's really fun. And that's pretty much what's going on in my life, I guess. I've been Johnny Massacre, and I tell you what, mate, you better be back for the next video, because otherwise I'll be coming around your house. Make sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell, because that's what all those other cunts tell you to do. Laters.